All right. My name is Ryan Wegerson. Welcome. I use pronouns she, her, hers, and I'm the Regional Admissions Manager for Cal Poly up here in the Pacific Northwest. I am based out of Portland, Oregon currently, but I'm from the Central Coast of California, and I worked on campus for Cal Poly in the admissions office for 3 years before moving up to the Pacific Northwest. And for the last couple of years, I've been working with students all over Oregon and Washington, telling them about Cal Poly and what we have to offer students in this region. So we're really excited to have you all here today. For this is a Zoom webinar, so you'll see that we're going to be shutting down that chat function. We're going to be talking to a panel of amazing Cal Poly proud individuals today. You're going to learn a lot about their individual experiences at Cal Poly and some things that they feel like you need to know as an incoming student. We're going to talk to those folks, and then we're going to get to a Q&A portion of our event. That is when you can go ahead and submit any questions you have in the Q&A function of Zoom. And you'll either get your question answered right there in the Q&A, or we may choose to go ahead and answer that question live. So feel free to bring any questions that you have from you, your parents, or supporters. Thank you so much for joining us. First off, I just want to say congratulations to all of you. This has been such an incredible accomplishment. All of you, juniors and seniors who've made it here. In my years of experience, I have 5 years working in the admissions office at Cal Poly, and this has got to have been the most competitive and selective year we have ever seen. We had 65,000 applicants to Cal Poly this year, and so many coming from Oregon and Washington. It's incredible. You all did an amazing job, and all of this on top of having those additional obstacles and struggles of a global pandemic. So you really should be so proud of yourself. I know that we are so proud of you here. And take that time to realize, like, wow, I did it. I've made it. I am admitted to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. It's pretty incredible. So here is a welcome message from all of us to you. I hope you enjoyed that video. Just one more time. Thank you so much. So today, we really hope to share a lot of great information with you. We know that you chose to apply to Cal Poly because you know the strength of our academic program. Maybe you've heard about our Learn by Doing philosophy, and you feel like that really resonates with you and how you learn. But now that you're admitted, you must have so many questions, and I bet you're super eager to find out, what the next 4 years of your life will be like. So we have a fantastic panel of Cal Poly proud individuals here today. We're so lucky to have them. Thank you to all of you for joining us. First, we're going to hear from Dr. Joy Peterson, who is our Dean of Students. Then we'll hear from Dr. Gregson, who is an Associate Dean of our College of Science and Math and a terrific professor in chemistry. We also have Sharon Dobson, who is a faculty in our Orphalia College of Business. And 2 current students are joining us today. They are Sophie Bay, who studies architecture, as well as Max Kruger, a current student in our biomedical engineering program. So let's get started with you, Dr. Joy. Thank you so much for being here today.
Hi, thank you. Thank you so much. My name is Dr. Joy Peterson, and my pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm the Dean of Students at Cal Poly. I'm very excited to be here with you today and want to add myself to the long list of congratulations on your admissions to Cal Poly. I also want to congratulate the parents and supporters who are with us. It's quite an accomplishment to get into a university like Cal Poly, and I hope you all feel that your hard work has really paid off. By now, you've heard a little bit about our Learn by Doing philosophy and how this approach to learning helps students achieve lifelong success, both on campus and well beyond it in their professional careers. A key component to that success is a sense of belonging and community, and that has never been truer than in this past year with the COVID-19 pandemic. Part of my job is helping students experience the fullness of Learn by Doing so they can become global citizens and community members. We do this by providing meaningful experiences and opportunities that help them create deep and meaningful relationships, learn different perspectives, and connect to their classroom and out of classroom experiences. Student success and well-being are at the core of our mission in student affairs, and every member of our team is here to help provide the resources to help you be well, find your community, and experience success. I highly encourage you to get involved right away. From your very first quarter at Cal Poly, we want you to be hands-on. This is what really sets Cal Poly apart. We don't just do the theoretical and then let you practice it when you get on the job. We mix the theoretical with the practical for you right away from the very first day. And what we hear time and time again from employers that come to recruit our students is that when they get on the job, Cal Poly students are 6 to 9 months ahead of any other student that they've hired. And that means that our graduates are successful early in their careers and are able to move quickly up the career ladder in whatever organization they choose to serve. And I'll talk about our career services a little bit more in a minute. I mentioned the importance of community and belonging, and we want to be sure the quality of your out-of-class experience is matched with your in-class experience. We want you to learn about different perspectives, different ways that people see the world and make meaning, and just make sure that you're connecting and engaging deeply with everything that Cal Poly has to offer. We do that first by really focusing on creating a sense of community and making sure that, that you're connected. We really work hard to center issues of diversity and belonging, not just in the areas that are our cross-cultural centers, like the Multicultural Center and the LGBTQ Center, but throughout all of the programs and services that we offer students at Cal Poly. Social justice, diversity, and equity are clearly some of the most present and pressing challenges that our society is facing right now, and we need our students to be prepared to step up and be part of the solution. All of our first year students live on campus and get to choose a living learning community that they want to affiliate with. This could be a community affiliated with your college, an interest that you have, or an identity that you hold. There are lots of choices for first year students. Unfortunately, our first year students this year weren't able to take advantage of some of those because of the COVID related restrictions, but we're hoping to bring that back next year when we're back in person and in regular operational status. Residence halls bring you on-site counselors, academic support, faculty who hold office hours in the residence halls, and live-in faculty fellows. It's why we believe so deeply in the residential experience and are moving to require all second-year students to live on campus. If you're a student who's admitted for this fall and you're in the College of Architecture or the College of Agriculture, Food, and Environmental Sciences, or the College of Engineering, you're going to be living on campus for the next 2 years because we believe the outcomes are just so much better. I mentioned the importance of engaging early on in your college career, and it has been really hard to engage this past year one-on-one with students, face-to-face during COVID. But we have done a ton of virtual events, and I would encourage all of you to download the Cal Poly Now app and check out the What's Up Now guide. That guide has over 500 weekly events that are happening for students virtually, and you can only imagine how this is going to translate back to the in-person experience when we're together as a community in the fall. Another way that we help build a community is through civic engagement and community service opportunities. We know that many of you are doing service now, and we want to help you extend that into your time with us here at Cal Poly. Now, health and well-being is definitely top of everyone's mind right now, as we're all in our different locations and behind Zoom screens, not able to be together in person. But health and well-being has always been a critical emphasis for us at Cal Poly, because we know if we're not taking care of your health and well-being, you're not going to be able to maximize the learn by doing experience. In a normal year, we see over 30,000 students for medical care visits, and we have 21 counselors who offer over 7,000 student visits to individual and group therapy every year. There's all sorts of things that we offer to help you take care of your health and well-being. Of course, the emphasis right now has been on the over 130,000 COVID tests that we've offered our students, faculty, and staff to help maintain a healthy campus community. And students who live on campus are getting the opportunity to test several times a week. They spit into a tube, and we have a faculty-developed COVID-19 PCR test that, in true Cal Poly Learn by Doing fashion, provides students an opportunity to work in the lab and run the tests. So I'm going to end by talking about career services, as I mentioned to you earlier. That is a major emphasis of what we offer outside the classroom, and that doesn't start at the end of your Cal Poly career. We actually have an entire freshman focus team to make sure that our first year students are connecting early in their college career with that college counselor from their major or college, so that they're developing plans for internships, choosing the classes that help move them where they need to go, and exploring all the different avenues available to them. We know that we're strong. We have over 12,000 recruiters coming to campus, either for career fairs or to interview every year. That number is only growing. And what's exciting is that number is sustained through various economic downturns. So including the economic downturn of 2008, 2009, and this past year. And that's because the outcomes of our amazing academic experience are so strong, and everybody wants to get Cal Poly students into their organizations. 93% of our students are what we call positively engaged, and that means they're working in a field or studying in a field directly related to their major. And 4 out of 5 of them have a job before graduation, with 2/3 of our students having a job 6 months or more before graduation. So this is something that not only puts students' minds at ease, but also puts parents and supporters' minds at ease. So I'm just gonna close by saying, I hope you choose to join Cal Poly and the Cal Poly community. I would love to keep in touch, and you can follow me on Instagram at Cal Poly DLS. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joy. I really appreciate having your insight and just having everybody feel at ease that when they come to Cal Poly, they're going to be able to, enjoy that learn by doing experience in and out of the classroom in a very safe manner as well. Next on our panel, we're going to hear from Dr. Derek Gregson. He is the Associate Dean for the College of Science and Math. Thank you, Derek, for being here.
Well, thank you. Hi, everybody out there in the great Northwest. I have lots of fond memories of living in Eugene. I lived in Eugene for about 6 years while I was at a campus there you guys may have heard of, the University of Oregon. That's where I got my PhD. My name is Derek, and I use pronouns he, him. I'm here to tell you a little bit about what we mean when you hear us say learn by doing is our core philosophy. I'd like to talk a little bit about what it means kind of in the colleges and in the kind of the academic life, and how faculty embrace that. First, I want to tell you a little more about me and my role here at Cal Poly. I'm currently an associate dean in the College of Science and Math. One of my responsibilities is to make sure that faculty have all the resources they need to offer students great hands-on experiences with state-of-the-art technologies and research labs. But I started my work here at Cal Poly as a professor in the Department of Chemistry and Biochemistry in 1999, which is most likely before any of you were born, or at least most of you were born, so a while ago. And I've always been fascinated by science and engineering and the exploration of our world and how things work. And I'm very fortunate to have opportunities to share this fascination with incredibly bright students like yourselves through the courses I teach and the research that we pursue together. In fact, my success as a teacher and our success as an institution actually depends directly on students like you. Our students are at the very center of our Learn by Doing philosophy. They are eager participants, and they regularly challenge us to find innovative and exciting new ways to live this philosophy. And I have lots of my own personal examples through my own research with students where students really helped move things forward for me in their own unique ways and brought experiences and brought knowledge to the projects that they work on that really made a difference. Learn by doing, it sounds like kind of a catchy motto, but it's a real thing that we embrace here. It's a vibrant part of the many majors that we offer across all 6 of our colleges. In the College of Science and Mathematics, we embrace this philosophy through hands-on equipment and instrument-intensive laboratories, and I think unparalleled access to undergraduate research with our exceptional faculty. As a chemistry professor, I've seen firsthand our graduates leave Cal Poly, ready day one, as we say. And I think Joy talked about this a little bit just a little while ago. They begin their careers a step ahead of their peers due to the hands-on learn by doing experiences they've had. In fact, in my role as a chemistry professor, many times I've had employers come back and report to me that our students truly do possess the knowledge, skills, and motivation to hit the ground running. And as a faculty member, that always made me very Cal Poly proud. I mean, I couldn't be more proud of what our students were able to accomplish after leaving Cal Poly. Each major has a unique way in which their students live the Learn by Doing motto. But what has been most impressive to me over my time, so about 20 years at Cal Poly, is how frequently these Learn by Doing experiences involve collaborations across disciplines. You might think that, a chemist Learn by Doing is very different than somebody in business or economics Learn by Doing, and it is. But it turns out that there's a lot of crossover in these areas. And so in my own work on this campus, I personally have worked on project teams with students and faculty from across the university. For example, I've worked with biomedical, environmental, and materials engineering students from the College of Engineering. They worked in my labs on projects that I've worked on. I've worked with food and dairy scientists from the College of Agriculture, Food, and Environmental Sciences. I used to work on some formulations for a byproduct of the cheese industry, whey protein, but then also the buttermilk powder that's left over from making different dairy products. I've worked with graphic communication students and artists from the College of Liberal Arts. I've worked with industrial technology and packaging students from Orfalea College of Business. And I've worked with construction management students and city and regional planning students from the College of Architecture and Environmental Design. Most recently, we've had some students in that college work with us on a master plan for our Cal Poly Pier, which is part of our marine sciences program. So this ability to work across colleges and with students from different disciplines and different backgrounds really leverages and strengthens that Learn by Doing philosophy and experiences that our students have. What I kind of want to tell you in closing is I'm sure you're looking around our website a ton. We've got a great website for you to learn about us and who we are. But as you're looking around, I really want to urge you to take some extra time and read through the many individual stories from our students that describe what Learn by Doing has meant to them. Because in my experience, every student walks away with a different type of a Learn by Doing experience. And it's their stories that define who we are as an institution. I've taught thousands of students. I teach first year chemistry in a really innovative environment we call studio chemistry, where lecture and lab are wed together. You jump from one thing to the next, you go do an activity, and then you'll get together with a group of your peers and you'll share your data and you'll come up with conclusions and you'll present them to the group. It's a very active environment. And I've also worked with dozens and dozens of students in my research labs since I've been at Cal Poly. And in each case, the students walk away with their own very impressive Learn by Doing Cal Poly story. And my question to you is, what's your Learn by Doing story going to be when you come join us? I think it's a wonderful opportunity for you. I'm so glad to be here to talk to you, and I hope you guys have lots of great questions for us. Take care.
Thank you, Derek. Last time I was on campus at Cal Poly, Derek gave me and some of my colleagues a tour of those studio labs, and I was so impressed. I was like, okay, I am ready to be a chemistry major now. Never really was into math too much, but man, I just think that's such a fascinating concept and a great way for students to learn those first year classes. Next, we're going to hear from Sharon Dobson in our College of Business. Thank you so much for being here, Sharon.
Thank you, Ryan, for inviting me. Welcome, students and parents. Congratulations, students, for being admitted to Cal Poly. We look forward to welcoming you to the Mustang family. I joined the family in 1990 when my husband and I moved here from Ole Miss. I teach fundamentals of corporate finance and principles of marketing in the Orfalea College of Business. And our vision for the College of Business is to be the indisputable leader in experiential education. Our mission is to produce career-ready global business leaders, and we do this through hands-on discovery and application. So by engaging students in this hands-on experiential education and reflection, you become better prepared to connect the theories and knowledge learned in the classroom to real-world situations. When you participate in this experiential education, the opportunities that you gain are, you get a better understanding of course material. Life isn't organized by chapters with tests to signal what information to apply. Unless you learn to recognize when the knowledge might be useful, that you can recall that knowledge and how to apply it, you will struggle to transfer what you know and your understanding will be incomplete. So it's our job as instructors to create these learning experiences that give you that hands-on exploration. So in my finance classes, for example, student teams follow a company all quarter long. They follow its stock price. We start every class meeting with a current event about their companies. They create a company analysis research project that they complete as a written document, and also they present at the end of the quarter. In my principles of marketing classes, the student teams that range from 4 to 5 students create a marketing plan for a company whereby they create a new product idea. They learn about the company's customers, the marketing environment that they operate, and propose different marketing ideas to help the companies foster more income and profitability. So I look forward to any questions that you may have about further learn by doing experiences that I do in my classes. And also, in addition to teaching in the College of Business, I'm executive director of the Cal Poly CAP program. I'm advisor for the TEDx San Luis Obispo team, as well as the Delta Sigma Pi business fraternity. Thank you so much and take care.
Thank you, Sharon. We're just so lucky to have you here today. Thank you for giving that insight to our prospective students. Next, we're going to hear from a current Mustang. Her name is Sophie. Sophie, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your experience at Cal Poly?
Yeah, thank you, Ryan. Thank you so much for having me. So hi, everyone. My name is Sophie Bay. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. And contrary to popular belief, I'm actually a journalism major. I apologize for the misconstrue of information. But yes, I study journalism with a concentration in public relations. I am a 4th year at Cal Poly, and I am from the one, the only Tacoma, Washington, my personal favorite place in the world. I'm currently located in San Luis Obispo, finishing up the end of my last year here, which is super bittersweet. And then before I pass it over to Max, I will just briefly introduce the organization that Max and I are members of. We're actually both on the executive board for an organization called PolyReps, which is Cal Poly's official university ambassadors. So during normal times, non-COVID times, we're the students who actually give campus tours around campus. It's our favorite thing in the world. We've been doing that online the past year during COVID, which has been so great to connect with all of you and everyone else who wants to know about Cal Poly. over Zoom. And then also during normal times, we do a lot of alumni relations, and then we visit high schools around the state of California to kind of bring that Cal Poly experience to high schoolers in their classrooms. So thank you so much for having me. I'm so stoked to talk to all of you. And if you come to Cal Poly, apply for Poly Reps, you won't regret it. And congratulations on getting in.
Thank you, Sophie. Next, we're going to hear from a current student in the biomedical engineering program. His name is Max. Max, thank you for being here. I know you're joining us from your current weekend job. I really appreciate you taking the time out.
How's it going, everyone? My name is Max. My pronouns are he, him, his. I'm from Lake Oswego, Oregon. I'm out here doing my weekend job working in the vineyard. It's pretty amazing. Just served wine for Jason Momoa. He is the Aquaman, I'm pretty sure. I don't know, he had the voice of an angel. He could read me bedtime stories for sure. Studied biomedical engineering and finance here at Cal Poly. Have been absolutely loving it from Lake Oswego, Oregon. Not a day goes by where life here in San Luis Obispo feels not like a movie. It's so fun down here. I get to do so much. I am able to do things I would have only dreamed of in high school. Cal Poly enables me to do everything I would love to do. So it's a really fun time be able to do. So I wake up in the morning, I go surfing, I then come out here to beautiful Paso Robles, Booker Vineyard, work here in the wine country, get a sandwich, because for some reason San Luis Obispo has a bunch of amazing sandwich places. Dutch Crunch, if you ever get a sandwich from here in San Luis Obispo, Dutch Crunch is incredible. I've never had it before until I came here, and it is just an absolute hit. And yeah, I love Cal Poly, and not a day goes by. Get to hang out with my friends, study amazing things, get involved with the research I would have only dreamed of with biomedical engineering, working on things like 3D printing, blood vessels in a box to test drugs on, all sorts of amazing things. My why Cal Poly is pretty simple. It's three main things. So the education in the classroom, world class, but I think the real value is coming from our outside the classroom experience. We have amazing club system, amazing motivated students who are willing to go around and really dive into different things that they're passionate about, as well as amazing resources where the university will enable you. If there's something you want to do, Cal Poly will help you in being able to do it. So I have a friend who wanted to send cameras to space. So he started a weather balloon club. Cal Poly gave him the funding needed for weather balloon club and sent some cameras to space, works with local companies on getting their product in space. It was amazing. Secondly, the education in the classroom is incredible, but outside the classroom, amazing. San Luis Obispo is a beautiful place to live. I mean, it's just incredible. It looks like this year round, 70 degrees and sunny. Being from Oregon, I make sure to text my mom when it's the middle of December and I'm sitting by the pool and she is inside where it's all rainy. And she tells me that she does not appreciate it, but I am enjoying myself. And I think she's happy that I'm happy. And then finally, the hands-on experience really can't be overvalued. It's the university is focused on undergraduates, which I think is something that I didn't really recognize right away when I was looking through colleges. And so that focus on undergraduates means your first year, you're able to dive in, get access to research opportunities, have so much connection with your professors that you might not find at other universities. So my one advice to you guys is just to dive in and just say yes to everything, embrace it all, soak it up like a sponge. It's so fun. I'm in my third year here, so I got a couple more years, or a couple of years, actually, a year and a quarter. And so, yeah, I love it. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Yeah, thank you guys so much.
Max, thank you so much. That sounds so exciting to be able to pour wine for Jason Momoa and the weekend. Wow, just such an incredible experience. Next, we're going to go into the question and answer portion of today's event. So if you haven't had a chance to ask your question yet in our Q&A function there, please feel free to go ahead and get those last minute questions in. In the meantime, I'm going to ask our panelists a few questions that I know are really important to our prospective students from the Pacific Northwest. I'm going to direct this question to Joy first. I know you touched a little bit on what we can expect for next fall, but what would you say to a student who is just concerned about what what to expect this coming fall and in terms of in-person classes, living and housing on campus. What are clubs and organizations going to look like? Or if we don't know that yet, when will we know?
Great, thank you. There is a lot that we don't know yet, although we are headed in a really positive direction. Hopefully you all know Cal Poly is part of the statewide CSU system, and the chancellor for the CSU has announced that we will be returning to in-person classes, to a very similar model that we were all more familiar with pre-pandemic. However, we are hoping to take all the lessons learned and not miss any opportunities from what we've all experienced collectively this last year to really improve on any policies, practices, protocols that can be more efficient as we move forward. So I'm very cautious with using the word new normal or back to normal, but I'm very optimistic that we are going to have the majority, super majority of our classes in person. We are opening our residence halls. We anticipate ongoing COVID testing, but that will be directed by our public health department. It will be determined by our local positivity rates. So there are a lot of factors that we don't know at this time, but we do know that we're moving in a direction of having our campus fully operational, fully staffed, and a lot more, like I said, familiar to what many of us are used to.
Thank you so much, Joy. It's so great to hear that, we have the possibility of kind of experiencing more than we did this next year. It's just such a relief, and I welcome it for sure. We have a lot of students coming from the Pacific Northwest that are currently asking questions about scholarships. For a lot of our Oregon and Washington students, tuition is out of state, which is a little bit higher than our in-state students pay. And we don't offer a ton of financial aid options for incoming freshmen from out of state. So to do a part of an answer to that question, in order to see whether you have been awarded any merit-based scholarships that are offered by Cal Poly, be sure to look in your Cal Poly portal under Money Matters so that you can see those awards. If you feel like we're missing something, or if you have some questions, definitely reach out to our financial aid office, and we'll put a link in the chat there for you to go ahead and connect with the financial aid counselors. They can kind of double check everything and make sure that we have everything we need from you. But in the meantime, as a current student at Cal Poly, you will have the opportunity to apply for a rolling scholarship. And I'm wondering, Sophie, can you speak to what that process is like? How easy is it?
Yeah, so I have had the absolute honor of being able to apply for some of my department scholarships, which is great. So there's an entire portal on your student webpage as a Cal Poly student. And one of the options is scholarships. And so one of the awesome things about that is that they compile a ton of scholarships for you. And so as opposed to randomly searching on the internet and typing in like scholarships for girls who run cross country, like I was doing my senior year of high school, they actually find those for you and put them together into one nice list that you can go through. The other awesome aspect of this Cal Poly scholarship portal is that there is one application that you can fill out that your department will then go through and actually apply you to the scholarships that make sense for you. And so I was able to just write, answer a few questions, give my information, and submit this. And then my journalism department administration actually went through and figured out what scholarships would make sense to submit my information for. And then I eventually heard back from that, but it simplifies the process a lot. I don't know a ton about the rolling scholarships per se, other than those that are in reference to GPA. I know that if you get over, I believe, like a 3.5 every year, they give you the same continuous scholarship. I have to fact check the GPA with Ryan or whoever could do that. But the scholarships portal is pivotal. So definitely recommend that.
Great. And anyone from our faculty and staff want to add to scholarships at Cal Poly and how widely available they are for current students?
I don't know a lot about scholarships per se, but I do want to highlight the availability of a lot of campus jobs. Every department has student assistants that they hire, as well as I know the College of Agriculture has student enterprise projects. So for example, each year there's a Tomato Mania project, there's a Poinsettia project, and student teams are given seed money from the Cal Poly Corporation, to buy the seedlings, and then they plant the crops. Then they get to practice their business skills by marketing them. And then the proceeds are split amongst the team. So there's lots of opportunities to also earn money on campus.
Thanks, Sharon. And can you talk a little bit about Handshake? Do you know much about the Handshake app we use on campus for students to find jobs?
Yes, just through students sharing with me that they've applied for jobs through Handshake. So that's readily available for students to, like on a weekly basis, see what the latest job opportunities are for on campus, off campus, as well as with internship availabilities and career jobs that companies are offering.
Thank you so much. We get a lot of questions about on-campus jobs, internships, and research in particular. And I don't know if you all know, but the College of Science and Math employs over 1,000 undergraduates in their research labs every year. Derek, do you have any information that you want to share with our students about, how should they go about looking for those research opportunities?
Yeah, I'll talk a little bit about the research opportunities. It's not just within our college. Many of the other colleges have research opportunities for their students, but within our college, faculty go out and win national grants quite often. And a lot of times they write into those grants funding to pay students to do the work or participate in the work. Annually, we get about $500,000 a year that directly goes to fund undergraduate students to work with our faculty. And then we have a very robust summer program, which employs about 200 students full-time through some foundation funding that we have. In addition to those 200 students that work through that program during the summer, there's also about another 200 that are funded off grants and awards. So the ability to participate in these things is really great for students across all disciplines in our college. And we have regular calls for application to these programs throughout the year, depending on whether it's a summer program or whether it's a year program. When you're working in an individual faculty member's lab and they are funding you off of one of their grants, that connection is usually comes through either, I think when you said Handshake, you're talking about Mustang Jobs, I think though, right? Yeah. So either comes through Mustang Jobs, like the individual faculty member will advertise on Mustang Jobs, or a faculty member may just announce or advertise in one of the courses that they're teaching, because they're probably teaching relevant material to the research that they're doing, and they'll try to collect people from that avenue and bring students into their research. I want to just dovetail on what Sharon said, that we have many student assistants working all over campus, and some of them are in technical areas and they're providing support for faculty. Some of them are prepping labs and working on the teaching side. Some of them are doing office type work. Some of them are helping with financials. I mean, it really runs the gamut of whatever student interest might be. So there's a lot of opportunity for that as well.
Thank you so much, Derek. That's part of that learn by doing experience. Next, we've got some questions from out of state. Many of our out of state incoming freshmen know that they're not permitted to bring a car when they come to Cal Poly, but we do have lots of options for transportation. Max, I'd like to hear from you. What has been your experience on how best to get around campus and the San Luis Obispo area for our freshmen?
There's actually a lot. So freshman year, I was worried about the same thing. Like, how would I be able to get around and be able to get to work, be able to get to the beach, get to surfing without having a car. So San Luis Obispo is awesome in that it's a college town, meaning that the whole town's sort of built around supporting you as a college student, which is really cool. For getting around town, we have a free bus service that's free for our students. And so students are able to hop on, go down on Thursdays to the farmer's market when that's up and running, be able to get around town, be able to get to groceries, get from your house when you move off campus, or if you move off campus to school. And so that bus system is really great, and it runs pretty consistently. And so like you're able to get on the bus within that every 15 minutes and get to where you need to go. And they do bus service for going to school and going home. And then on Thursdays, they have a double-decker bus. That's actually really awesome. That takes you down to downtown from campus. Additionally, there's a Cal Poly Slow rideshare Facebook page, which is actually helps run through the school. And on that Facebook page, you're able to sign up and go out with fellow Mustangs to wherever you need to go. So a lot of fellow Mustangs will post, hey, I'm going up to the Bay Area, or I'm going down to LA, just to like come with a ride. And so when that's all up and running, people are able to hop in on a ride through that Facebook, be able to get up and down to the Bay Area. We also have train service, which is actually really fun. It's one of my favorite ways to travel because you get to see the beautiful California coast. And it's really relaxing when you are moving and driving, but not having to be at the steering wheel, kind of locked in on the rails. So pretty cool. We also have flight service. So there's a flight that's coming from San Luis Obispo to Portland, and then also a flight from Seattle to Portland already exists. So it's really good ways to get down to SLO. I'm excited for that direct flight to get home, but honestly, there's layovers in San Jose, which aren't too bad, or sometimes they'll even ride share up to San Jose and then take the airplane back home up to Portland. So a lot of really cool ways to get around. The city's super bikeable, and so it has a really big bike culture. And so you'll see a lot of bikes around campus, and that could be your trusty steed and getting around campus, getting to class on time, cuts down that commute time when you have those early 7 a.m. classes. And so a lot of really cool ways to get around town. So cool.
Thanks, Max. We just had an excellent question come in through our Q&A, and Joy, I will direct this question to you if possible. How is the Cal Poly community currently working to promote and elevate inclusivity and diversity?
Thank you. Well, I did mention in my comments that those are some of the most pressing issues that we're faced with today. And I think the pandemic has really highlighted the inequities that we have in all of our institutions. And so here at Cal Poly, we are working very hard to foster a sense of belonging, to look at our practices, both as they apply to students and also our faculty and staff, to be sure that there are opportunities and access for everybody to achieve their full potential. We have a really amazing group of staff in the we call it SDAB, Student Diversity and Belonging programs, that includes the Gender Equity Center, the Multicultural Center, the Pride Center, Men and Masculinities. And those programs put on a lot of events to raise awareness and build community for our marginalized students. But we also, in all things that we do in fraternity and sorority life, in our clubs and orgs, in service and action, we center social justice and diversity, equity, and inclusion in all of those programs. So it is something that is a priority for the university. There is a lot of interest and engagement in this area. And we also know there's a lot of work to be done at Cal Poly and beyond. So thank you for asking the very important question.
Thank you so much. My next question I'm going to direct to Sharon Dobson. I have students here who are asking, if I'm a business administration major and I want to minor in something completely different, like music or chemistry or something outside of my College of Business, is that possible? And how common is that?
Thanks for asking that important question. It's actually very common. And I personally, as an instructor, encourage students to go to musical performances. I was executive director of the local Opera San Luis Obispo for over 20 years, so I have a strong interest in the arts. I offer as extra credit to students to go to dance performances because there's a lot of a lot of transfer of knowledge between, you know, putting on a dance performance and being successful at business. So I've had many students who have majored in business administration and also have music minors or Spanish minors, graphic communication. So it is very common.
Thank you, Sharon. I hear that as well. I hear a lot of engineers who like to minor in music. It's pretty common at Cal Poly. The next kind of related question is, and we get this question quite a bit. At Cal Poly, we do ask students to choose their major on their application, and we basically have direct admit to all of our individual programs. So you're starting right in that program the first quarter on campus, but some students are just not yet sure, and they're already thinking about maybe changing their major. Sophie, can you address what that change of major process is like? Is it hard? Is it easy? What are the parameters?
Yeah, so I started at Cal Poly as an architecture major, and I am now journalism. But I am one of the cases where starting in your major classes on day one was eye-opening to me because I realized it was not what I wanted to do for my entire life, which I think is equally as important as the people who do realize it's what they want to do for their entire life. Because if I would have spent 2 years taking GEs and then being admitted into my major at another university as, you know, going into my third year, I would have had a lot of backtracking to do. So I, within the first few weeks, was in my architecture professor's office hours saying, this is not working out for me. I'm not feeling fulfilled. And he was so supportive and saying, you know what, like, let's just get you through the quarter and like, we'll figure out what to do next. And Cal Poly's change of major process is just a little different than I think a lot of other universities, where it's really based in communication and it's very supported by the administration, as opposed to possibly going onto an online platform and just filling out an application. It requires actually having conversations with people in the departments that you're planning on switching into. And so I ended up in the office of the head of the journalism department saying, hello, professor, I would really like to change into this major. Will you have me, essentially? And, you know, she started this conversation. Her name's Professor Mary Glick. And she was saying, yes, here is the stipulations that we can put in front of you for you to follow in order to complete this process. And it is just a few steps. And so you sign a contract called an ICMA, and it's a change of major contract. And I think most of them follow the same lines. Otherwise, they're very close to being, you take 2 courses in the intended major that you want to change into, get a B- or better, and then at the end of that, you will be automatically transferred into that new major. And so I was able to take 2 classes and complete that process. And I was pretty confident in my change of major process. So I started also taking GEs that would be applicable in my new major. And so, you know, by the end of my freshman year, because I did realize so early on that I wanted to change my major, that process was complete. You get an email at the end saying you're officially switched over. And then I had this awesome relationship with my new department head, which is really nice, because I don't know if I ever would have met her if I'd directly gone into that major, just because, you know, it's a little nervous to go into the department head's office and start a conversation sometimes. So it's worked out really well for me. And the other thing is, I like to point out that I started in architecture, I changed my major, I studied abroad, and I was actually supposed to graduate early after all of those mishaps. And I ended up adding a double minor just so I could stay for a full 4 years. So there is a lot of success stories where changing a major doesn't at all hinder your graduation, expected time of graduation. So don't worry if that's in your plan, it can work out really well and it can actually benefit you in so many ways. But yes, and then the other important administrative point in changing your major is that you do actually have to go back and look at your application from when you applied to Cal Poly originally. And so the administration, or I actually don't know who approves the change of major, but the people who are going to approve your change of major will go and see if you would have gotten into that major originally as a first-time student, just because our majors are so impacted that you know, they want to make sure that everything is still in line. But yes.
Yeah, so the new department will approve those major changes. Thank you so much, Sophie. That, you know, it really helps to hear from a student what that experience is like, because sometimes it just sounds kind of like a scary set of processes, but it's actually quite simple, and we help you out along the way. Something that you mentioned in that explanation, Sophie, is your relationships with professors. And that's something that I feel like is such a huge benefit at Cal Poly. Our faculty to student ratio is, 18-1. We have really small class sizes. But also just the fact that the professors are accessible and they get to know the students is something that really draws, new students to Cal Poly. Derek, do you want to share with us what that looks like for you as a faculty member at Cal Poly?
Yeah, actually, I want to jump in on what Sophie said, because what she said is a very similar experience to my niece goes here to Cal Poly. My daughter didn't want to come to Cal Poly, same age. She's at UC San Diego. She didn't want to be at the campus where Dad was. Figure that one out, guys. But when Sophie said she was a little intimidating to go to the department head's office, this is the exact situation my niece was in. She came in as a food science major and wanted to change to agricultural business. And I had to tell her 3 or 4 times, you're going to have to go talk to the department chair. Oh, but I don't really want to do that, Uncle Derek. I really don't want to do that. And it seems a little intimidating at first, but now she has a really great relationship with the department head in that department. And it happens all the time. Not only are the faculty really accessible, the department heads are accessible, deans and associate deans are accessible. Everybody on campus is accessible and there for you. And want to see you be successful in these things. So in terms of the class sizes, I mean, it really is unparalleled, even at other of the universities that are in the Cal State University system. I think there was a question in there saying, how big are the introductory English and comms classes? Well, they're 22. That's the size of them. What is the size of an introductory calculus class? It's 35. What's the size of an introductory chemistry class? It's 64, and they're all together in lecture and lab. They meet for 6 hours a week with the same instructor and a couple of what we call learning assistants. These are near peer advisors. They are students who are in the class that are there to help you learn. You go up and down the curriculum. I mean, we rarely have classes that are in the hundreds. We have a few that are in the hundreds. We don't even have a room that holds over 200 students. I mean, when people want to offer a big class, we offer it in Spano Stadium where all the theatrical productions are done. And so it is actually a very close and intimate approach to your education here. And the biggest thing I think, and maybe Max and Sophie can talk about this too, is as you start to get engaged, whether it's through the clubs that you're working through, there'll be faculty advisors there, whether it's through a research or an internship, things on campus or off campus, you generally get to know somebody who's becomes more or less a mentor. I've got dozens and dozens of students I've worked out that are, connected with me through Facebook or Instagram or other things. When they keep track of what we're doing, I see when they have their kids, they go out there, they're professionals. You develop these professional and student relationships with people, and they go on for many, many, many years to come. And so that is a really common thing here at Cal Poly, and that it really speaks to the student faculty interaction, which I think is one of the hallmark, qualities of Cal Poly and what you can expect if you were to come here.
Thank you, Derek. We're running out of time, and so I just want to ask one more question. And I want to pose this question to all of you, just have a nice short answer. I want to know, what is your favorite thing to do in the SLO area? I'm going to start. And my favorite thing that I'm thinking of right now is to go to the Avila Valley barn, feed the goats, feed the chickens, eat some delicious food. They've got, pies and ice cream, and just really enjoy the beautiful scenery out there. You can even pick berries yourself. That's my favorite thing to do. Next, I'll have Sharon. Sharon, what's your favorite thing to do?
I love hanging out at the Cal Poly Cat Shelter. It's on campus, and we have over 30 cats that are there. And when I'm out there, just walking the campus trails, of which we have miles and miles.
Thank you, Sharon. Next, I'll ask Joy.
Yeah, I live in Morro Bay, and so I love to go out to the bay and go paddleboarding.
That's fantastic. We have a lot of folks who do paddleboarding and kayaking in Morro Bay. Max, how about you?
Hi, so my ideal day, wake up, go on a hike, Bishop's Peak sunrise, hang out with friends, get back, hop on Zoom, learn some stuff from my classroom, working a Zoom for Cal Poly Empower, making some medical devices that change people's lives in the community. Then get to go eat a sandwich from Lincoln Street Deli, and then go surfing for sunset, work here in the winery a little bit, and just enjoy the beauty of the Central Coast.
I love that. It's a day in the life of Max Kruger. How about Derek? What is your favorite thing to do in the area?
Well, there's no way there's one, but I'll tell you, I went for a 5-mile hike before you came to this. I'm probably going to go for a kayak tomorrow. I mean, we kayak a lot. There's so much to do out here, and so many different ways to do it. So it's a great place to be.
And last but not least, Sophie, what's your favorite thing to do?
Yes, I am a huge sunrise and sunset gal. I absolutely love chasing sunsets in slow. The sky is unlike anything I've ever seen before, and I can't imagine life without that. It's going to be tough to let that go when I move elsewhere. But yes, that's my thing.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to say that there may be some questions that you just didn't get a chance to get answered today in this short period of time. You'll see that some of our panelists have been, gracious enough to put some of their contact information. They'd love to hear from you. So definitely feel free to reach out to those folks and ask some of your additional questions. And thank you so much for being here. We know that you're probably enjoying your beautiful weekend, but we love that you came to be with us today and learn a little bit more about Cal Poly. We are really excited to welcome you to the Mustang family, and we can't wait to meet you on campus next fall. In the meantime, you can reach me. My name is Ryan Wegerson, and you can reach me by phone, email, or you can also get our Calendly link to make an appointment with me via Zoom. Many of you are students with running start credits or other dual enrollment classes, and many of you have questions about that. Feel free to submit those questions to me at my email, and I can work with you on getting those questions answered. We also have some upcoming events. Our virtual open house is going to start on April 8th. Definitely check that out. You're going to learn even more information about housing, about orientation, or even about the specific college that you've been admitted to. Don't forget that you must let us know whether you plan to attend Cal Poly by May 1st. And the housing applications preferences deadline is May 7th. Thank you again, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Enjoy. Bye.
Hi there, my name is Rafael. I'm a 4th-year journalism transfer student with a minor in Spanish, and my pronouns are he, him, his. Thank you for watching the video. Please share any questions or comments you have down below in the comment section, and go ahead and click here to subscribe. And to watch more videos, click here. If you want to sign up for a virtual visit or talk to any student or staff members, check out our website. Link in the description. Thank you for watching.